All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Maria Stone, and I am an astronomer. Currently, I reside in Helsinki. So, I at the moment I am unemployed. So I'm not the super successful astronomer who got a postdoc after a PhD right away. I did my PhD, finished my PhD in summer 2024, and it is January 2025 right now, and I'm waiting for still answers from some of the applications which are pending that I applied. However, in a way, okay, I have to acknowledge the financial support of my husband, James Stone, and also the unemployment support from the city of Helsinki. So to sustain me after the PhD, already many months. So um, in a way, I one positive side. It's not financial, but one positive side about being unemployed, I don't really have a boss, so I can do kind of whatever I want. Um, so I have this project which I um, sort of originally, and I have developed and also got pilot data from the Nordic Optical Telescope by myself, and I can work on this project. Um, so uh, I exercise the freedom to do this fun project. Um, all right, it's fun project because it's my baby project. So I will share my screen. So what are we gonna do today? Basically, I collected the data in 2023 autumn and at the Nordic Optical Telescope. So because I had a lot of challenges, I didn't finish um, publication within the 1 year of proprietary year given by the Nordic Optical Telescope. I'm continuing to work on it now. However, one positive side about it is that this data is available to the public. So the Nordic Optical Telescope, uh, it when you do observations, when whatever observations are done by this telescope, after there is 1 year proprietary period imposed on the scientific data, but after that year, anybody can access it. And here are different um, different links and information how to access the archived products from the node. Let's see, there's a notes fits header archive, or if you have a lot of files, you can contact Sergio Armas. Uh, you can look through the end of night reports. Alfosk is an instrument that are used. You can read more, I guess, based on each um, uh, instrument. And there is weather archive, publications archive. So, and I'm learning kind of with you. I'm also learning as I go. I have done uh, before uh, spectroscopic observations, reduction analysis, and paper publication based on node data. So I am a bit comfortable with this topic, and I'm the PI of this observing proposal, so I'm comfortable leading it. But I'm also human, so I don't have super good memory. It has been quite a while since I have reduced spectra, so some things I have to look up myself and uh, by myself as well. And some things have changed. What am I trying to say? Um, I take now this as an opportunity to kind of do a tutorial um, in the spirit of open science to show you how, I work as an astronomer. Also to show my vulnerabilities and risks that I take. So it's not super organized. I mean, I try to organize, but it is a real live research project that I'm trying to do video tutorials or video documentary of. So it is not going to be perfect, but at least you can see my thought process in a way. Of course, I will try to keep it sort of organized, but um, this is how real life science uh, projects are when I work on them. So I'm transparent about it. And some people very um, have different opinions. For example, some people want you to be perfect or know something, and if you don't know, you shouldn't be in the field or shouldn't be in a PhD program. I've heard these kind of comments before, but uh, that is not realistic, or that's not what I subscribe to. I have my own opinion, and now that I have a PhD, I don't have to, I can be more confident in my own ways of doing things and thinking about things. It is okay to make mistakes. It is okay to have questions. It is okay not to remember every single thing that you have done before, every single procedure by heart. How is it possible to remember every single procedure by heart? That's why we have libraries. That's why we have research notes so that we can go back. Um, so um, I have covered how somebody who is not the PI of an observing proposal can access the data after it is publicly available. Now, a little bit um, about this project. So, where did I put it? Okay, so ah, I published a similar paper. So on the ADS, uh, I can access my previous paper, Low Redshift Quasars in the SDSS Trap 82, Associated Companion Galaxies and Signature of Star Formation. So I can access it, and then I can look at the PDF because it has a nice image to show you how the observations were done. So basically, I'm interested in evolution of galaxies, and I'm very uh, curious about quasars and what is their role in the evolution of galaxies. So I think it is important to use observations. It's exciting to do observations to learn what the data from the universe tells us about project. But basically, for each quasar at low redshift, and these are for this paper are all type 1 quasars. So here's a quasar. I try to ascertain information about its neighboring galaxies through long slit spectroscopy. So A and B here are candidate companions. And we put the long slit there, the slit to gather. Um, the slit allows the light to go through it and disperse into like the rainbow, into the spectroscopic data. And this data through spectroscopy gives you spectroscopic redshift so that you can assess whether they are really close to each other or whether it's just a chance projection, foreground or background. And second, through this spectroscopy, you can also estimate star formation rate. So a little bit about quasars. As I said, that paper was on type 1 quasars. Let's see, okay, view, present, here, slideshow. Um, Here, I studied in my PhD thesis published papers, for example, the Stone et al. 2021 on type 1 quasars. And these are quasars where our view is unobstructed towards the inner region immediately around supermassive black holes, the accretion disk, and broadline region. So you get these broad emission lines in a spectroscopy in the optical spectra, but you have actually most of the quasars, most of the AGN, according to Hickox et al. 2018 review, Hickox and Alexander, I believe, 2018 review, most of the quasars actually obscured quasars. So there is this obscuring material, the torus, that obscures the view towards this accretion disk and broadline region. So you don't get to see these broadline emission lines. You see narrow emission lines from narrow line region. Okay. I just want to make sure that I am recording. Okay, yeah, we are recording. All right. So since I have studied the neighboring galaxies around type 1 quasars, I was inspired to look at type 2 quasar neighborhoods. And this is what the data was. Basically, instead of a type 1 quasar here, I have a type 2 quasar, and I look at the neighboring galaxies and collect its spectroscopy. I do have one of type 2 quasars. This is how they look in SDS SDR15 field. And in this image, this quasar has a companion galaxy. And I didn't collect the spectroscopy. This is available in the SDSS archive. So I collected spectroscopy for a few more fields. So that was a little bit about um, okay, about this project. So the topic of this tutorial is video tutorial part 1, downloading data and organization. Let me quickly read the introduction. Basically, the aim of this project is to reduce and analyze spectroscopy data from the NOT telescope. The data is already past the 1-year proprietary period and is available to the public. I use these situations as an opportunity to create an open science tutorial where I demonstrate how I go about doing science in practice. My thought process and mistakes are transparent. And I hope the audience will be able to learn something and also be less scared of science as it is demystified openly online. And I eagerly await to see the new results from this project. There is a risk that someone will snatch this project, but it's not a nice behavior. So please don't steal this project from me. I am very happy to collaborate. If you want, please contact me. We can collaborate. Um, okay, so I wanted to show you the observing proposal. Let's see. Search idea, not here. So observing proposal, you have to write an observing proposal when you ask for data. And just really quick, so I wrote to the Nordic Optical Telescope. The sections are the title. You should give a short abstract. information about you as a PI, your co-investigators. This is the correct proposal. Obscure the gem, yes. Um, okay, information if it's a PhD thesis project, how many, which instrument you are going to use, ALPHOSCA used, how many nights, and some other information like the which date, which months are those objects visible more optimally, what kind of moon, seeing, sky conditions is quite technical, but you can read about it. Okay, I didn't have that because it was a pilot project. I didn't have any nights already awarded. Any other special constraints? So I said that was my special constraint, that the targets were observable towards the end of the observing period, because the observing period is April 1 to October 1. All right. And then the scientific justification, just a bit more background at your main questions I wrote here. How the observations are going to answer those questions. References, some figures, justification for exposure time, calibrations that are needed. So I needed calibrations, bias, flat, etc. Total time description, and here are specifications for the instrument setup, my target list with coordinates and other details, backup program, publications, and other observing periods. All right. So this is what the observing proposal looks like, and I'm very grateful that I was selected to do it. It was amazing to go to observing at Note. Always is amazing. So we go back now to my video tutorial. We discussed the observing proposal parts. So as I work on a science project, so now I have to keep track of things. So where am I going to keep track of things? Okay. So I created a project in my research directory. In here I have my so okay, that's something extra here. I will write here to organize. So I didn't organize very well, but it would be actually, let's put it something X to organize. And then in a one, it would be good to put the observing proposal. I'll put it, the observing proposal there. And here it would also be good to put observing notes. So I have notes like target listed stuff that can go into this observing notes. But right now we are doing something else. So I will write a to-do list. So as we work on a project, we keep up several things: research notes, acknowledgements, writing the paper draft as we go as well, organization, keeping records, and this is both electronic files, you know, in your computer, and also paper files, paper notes files. List of questions, problems, list of things to read, list of things to do. So um, let's create new. Is it gonna let me? New document. Right here, to-do list, do list, obscured quasars. Um, I will date it. I like dating. I'm putting an author. So what was it that I had to do? I have to put observing notes records into uh, electronics directory under my research dusty quasars folder. Okay, so to keep everything in one place. Uh-huh. Mhm. So then I have acknowledgements. I always keep a list of acknowledgements because it's hard at the end to remember who you have to acknowledge. And you know what? I also started a manuscript draft. Here we can just put it here. So reduce paperwork. Acknowledgements. Already put it here. Is it gonna let me? Okay. So I have to acknowledge uh, that I used Ophiosk and the Nordic Optical Telescope. And how do I know how to write this acknowledgement? Um, I go instruments Ophiosk, and then here acknowledging Ophiosk, and I just copy it. I don't know if there is a special uh, acknowledgement just for the Nordic Optical Telescope. Archive. Documents publication based on the data. Documenting the published scientific output from the node is an important part. Therefore, authors who publish papers wholly or partially based on data collected at the node must credit the use of the telescope with the following acknowledgement. Based, so we copy paste it into our acknowledgement. We acknowledge the telescope and we acknowledge the Alphosk instrument. And here, usually you have to also acknowledge funding. I think I have to acknowledge my husband because we are surviving based on his funding, his job salary. So my unemployment salary is very small, and but maybe I even have to um, acknowledge City of Helsinki. I don't know. I was thinking about that. I also you have to acknowledge software. So we're already using Google Docs. We're using uh, Overleaf. What else are we using? So whatever you use, maybe there is something that you need to acknowledge. Okay, funding any grants. For example, I got Finca grant to go observing. Is there a number? I'm not sure. Also, any people uh, who help you. Like if I have a discussion or a question, somebody helps me with it, I acknowledge them. My first astronomy teacher in Armenia, Paran Oskanyan, told me how once he helped somebody, but they never acknowledged them in the paper. So I try to acknowledge, to remember to acknowledge. Okay. So in this tutorial, I want to get the data, right? And it is going to be another heading. And this is also a heading. So just because I do something now, some step in a procedure of science, doesn't mean that it's final. It could be that I do something, a step or several steps, and then I have to do it again. So also to keep in mind. So I wanted to say something about starting a project. I have that problem sometimes, starting a project. So I have a sense of fear because I don't remember all the details. I started in my PhD to do how-to files that I served under procedures. Uh, so for example, for alpha spectroscopy, I have a file and I recorded kind of a procedure, and it is a living document. So I sometimes go back and update it because sometimes I didn't word it well, or I worded it confusingly, or missed a step. So, and this particular how-to file, I call it, um, I would like to acknowledge Renato Falomo's reduction procedure, the note course reduction procedure by Gary Nielsen, and several guides uh, from IRAF. So, but they before going there, let me see, the preparation of the data. See, uh, here I give a summary of this. I give a date. Uh, it's probably good to say last updated. Date of last update. Probably more. So it is January now, 10th, 2025. Or maybe I should make an maybe I should make a new one for this project because I'm no longer in a PhD program. This is Dusty Quasars project. January 10th. How to do here new or something like that. So, and here I'll put how to files into a new directory. Okay. Is there anything else? So after the summary about this procedure, I have step by step, check after each step to make sure action steps are working well, preparation of the data. So download the raw files into a directory. So this is a step. I already downloaded my files. I already downloaded my files, but how did I do it? Now, as PI can download a different way. Also not one by one. Maybe it's in observing tools. Data retrieval here. So I went observer, no, resources, observing tools, and then here's the data retrieval. And I followed this very nice procedure, how to get my data. Not it always writes very good procedures. I like it. Access to the Node data server. So I accessed it with my login and I was able to retrieve and access the directory. And I was able to just, how it's shown here, download it. And when I didn't have to first zip it. I didn't have to compress. I just downloaded it and it gave me zip files. Then I double clicked them to get unzipped files. So this is my data, and actually I have to, the way I do it, so this is my raw data and I don't touch it. What I will do now, I will create a working data directory and copy into it my files. Um, so that way, if I make a mistake, I have raw data on my computer. Um, However, so now this is actually on a hard drive, and I need to do another to do. I need to create a backup procedure for the cleaners files. So project, yeah, maybe started date, last update. Okay, so I had 4 nights of observations. However, I will be working on just one night for this tutorial, um, for the purposes of this tutorial. So here are the files. And to be honest with you, now we have to look at the end of night report for this date, and that will be next time. But now we got the data, and it's kind of the end of this video tutorial. Um, but if I remember correctly, I had one of the nights or 1.5 nights or something like that. The weather was pretty bad, and it was cloudy or humid or something, and I couldn't do observation. So this is suspicious because there are not that many files here, so maybe that was a bad one. September 16, 2023, and it was my birthday. Oh, all right. I spent it without my family. They were at the sea level, though. Okay, I go back to my tutorial. So I covered the sense of fear. I have covered the how-to files, my personal how-to files as a guide, and I should really publish those. Publish all of my how-to files for community. Um, you know, project idea. And then download the data from the node, which I have done. Introduction, maybe this should be heading 2. This is heading 1. Download the data from the node, talk about organization. We sort of did. Did I cover everything? It could be overwhelming. Sometimes it was overwhelming for me to think, oh, there are so many files. That's why I start with one night. If you need not all 4 nights at the same time, okay, I conquer one night, process one night worth of observations, then think of something else. And if you do a lot, maybe you have some systems or procedures that are more optimal. But I think there are many ways to solve a problem. There can be many ways to solve a problem. It's okay for you to decide which way is good for you. Some people want the fastest way. Uh, some people have other ideas. Like I have children right now, so my way to solve a problem is usually compartmentalized, so that I can finish a little chunk, because I cannot sit for too long at the computer. Uh, and if needed, you do one object at a time, not even the whole night. So, there are many ways to combat this sense of overwhelm. My solution for now was one day at a time. And I did um, discuss this raw data versus working data as well. So now, to conclude, we have a directory uh, into which we downloaded all the files from the node observations. These files are now ready to be processed by the astronomer. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you learned something, and I should have prayed in the beginning for God to, you know, give me wisdom and give us wisdom and to bless this project and to uh, give favor and anointing into this video tutorial to be valuable to people. All right, bye. I guess I should show, so now I can close all of this, right? Let's not leave everything. Yeah, I don't need any of this. Let's leave the, yeah, I'm applying for jobs screen clean, and we don't need these acknowledgements now, actually. I can put S2, I called literature. In literature, I put different papers and stuff that I need. Okay, everything is good. I will pause.